right, welcome to Primos for Life, the wrestling podcast made for the fans, by the fans. Como siempre, yo soy Eddie, el niño vaque. We got Ariel, the Ecuadorian dream bisueta, and we are your self-proclaimed, undisputed co-host tag team champions of the world. And in tonight's episode, we're joined by a Bronx original and one of the realest in the game, Ortiz. From LAX to AEW's Inner Circle and beyond, we're diving deep into legacy, loyalty, and we discuss what's next. So, como siempre, sit back, grab a snack, and let's get it on! Yo, 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 primo, what is up?
Whole lot of nothing, my man. Whole lot of nothing. Luckily, everything is good on my side. Family, friends, weather, just some good stuff. We got a big wrestling weekend coming up, and so a lot of things to pay attention to there. But today is not about any of the current wrestling events. I'm gonna let you go ahead and kind of fill everybody in as to the special day that today is, because today is truly not that all our segments and tapings aren't special, but today's a little something extra on.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so thank you, primo, for that segue to this lovely introduction that I'm about to drop on our listeners. All right, so in tonight's episode, we're bringing someone who's been putting in the work for the culture, for the Bronx, for the wrestling world for years. You've seen him go from grinding it out in the indies to making history in AEW. We've seen him go from street fights to stadium stampedes. Ooh.
I mean, you throw a lot of hints out there. I don't even know. People maybe start to piece together, but you keep going, man.
Yeah. And to also being a part of one of the most underrated stables of all time, the Inner Circle. This man's style is raw, real, and rooted in legacy. Whether it's alongside Santana under the LAX banner or now carving his own path as a singles competitor, he's always repping hard, stayed true to who he is. He is a proud Boricua warrior, a storyteller in the ring, and one of the most respected names in the game. You ready?
I don't think I could be any more ready with the way you're rolling, man, right now, man. So I say, stop teasing us. Stop it.
Yeah. All right. Listeners, primo, everybody, please welcome to Primos for Life, Ortiz. Yep. There he is. Let's go.
Whoa, man. This is crazy, man. I gotta let you know, this is just insane to have. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna attack you real fast.
Sorry, go for it.
To have someone of your caliber, stature, standpoint. I mean, someone who's done so much for la cultura de nosotros, for us as a Latino people in this wrestling game, industry, business. To have you here with us is truly a humbling experience. And we would like to say from the bottomest parts of our hearts and our souls, thank you very much for coming on. And muchísimas gracias for taking a little bit of your time, because we know that it's very valuable to come and spend it with us and just kind of help educate, the wrestling world on Latinos in the business, your experience in this business, and just kind of bring some new eyes and ears to wrestling, which is ultimately what you want to do. So just once again, thank you so very much.
For sure. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you, man.
Yeah. And then obviously, everything that Ariel said, fantastic. But I'm geeking out right now. I've been waiting for this call to happen for a hot minute.
Yes.
And I really have. And I wanted to make sure that what I wanted to say to you on behalf of the show and on behalf of the culture, like I wrote it down. So bear with me, right? But there's two things that I would like to tell you, sir. All right, Senor Ortiz. All right. Okay. So before we jump into this interview, I want to tell you straight off the bat, like Ariel said, thank you for everything that you've done for the culture and for the representation. All right. Because representation is so important, especially in 2025. We're able to see us on the television screens when it comes to professional wrestling. So thank you for that. And because of pros like you, we've been able to move past, when I say past, like old stereotypes of what Latinos and lucha is, right? Like, we're not just luchadors. We're not just Caribbean gimmicks. wrestlers like you, Santana, Angel Medina, Monster Mac, Low Key, Amazing Red, Moth, and Homicide. Because Homicide and I had an awesome conversation about this a few weeks back. You all laid down the foundation. And because of that work and because of what you guys have done, people like Damian Priest, people like Zelina Vega, they're able to be part of the main stage and not be a gimmick. Yes, they throw the Latino pride out there, the Boricua, all that,
Sure.
but they do it in their own way where it's not constricted into a box. So that's, one of the things that I wanted to first say to you on behalf of us, like, thank you again so much. You have no idea what that means to, Latino fans, kids growing up watching you saying, hey, that could be me one day. You you guys are opening doors and it's only going to go up from here. So again, thank you, Ortiz, for what you guys and you especially have done for Latinos in the business, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That as you were saying that, I was thinking to myself, you told me earlier before we started that you saw a gap and a need for something. So you were like, let's just do it. You know what I mean? And then you started a podcast. And honestly, Santana and I back in the day, we saw the gap and saw that there was an avenue there to go for. And then we were very lucky to become LAX. So that just hits nail right on the button. You know what I mean? And we saw the need and we did something about it. So we're liking that aspect.
Yes, let's go. We're following the footsteps. Let's go. All right. And then the second thing, right? And this has to be said. I mean, if there's a hint already, because I'm obviously wearing a hat, but I just want to put out there, and Ariel and I have had this discussion before in previous episodes. The Inner Circle, man, probably one of the greatest modern day stables of our time, because when you really take a step back and dissect it, real talk, modern day DX, like the 5-man DX group, like if you really put the pieces together and you see that Jericho was Triple H, Sammy was X-Pac, you guys, were the New Age Outlaws. And I really hate to say it this way, but Hager, the Enforcer, China.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And what you guys did
no
in
disrespect,
the beginning,
no
disrespect to Hager, right?
Yeah. Just the role you're talking about.
You're right. The role. Right. But what you guys did, busting through the door with AEW and that whole idea and how that all came about and what that represented was just the new era of wrestling. Like, we're going back to those WWE, WCW days where now the market is flooded with wrestling, and it's such a beautiful thing. Yeah. I've been going to so many local promotions lately that it's almost like we're going back to territories again. It's like, you don't like WWE, you don't like AEW. Well, guess what? You could go to Row in Texas. You could go to TNA. You could go to CCW. You could go, and it's such a beautiful thing for fans. And I am just so happy that we're in this world now, because it's only going to get better and it's going to be awesome. So
for sure,
just wanted to, put that out there and just, give you your flowers and let you know that these are the thoughts that come into our mind. So my bad. I know that was long-winded. I'm sorry.
Nah, you're good, man. Thank you. Very cool.
Yeah, man.
Well, we're gonna stop fanboying out for a few minutes. At this point, you're probably like, these guys.
Not at
all. So one of our first and general staple question that we ask all of our guests, be it wrestlers, professional, or just fans who are doing an episode with us, if you can recall that one staple first memory of wrestling where you picked your head up and you paid attention, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, because Eddie's was the introduction of Kane to the Undertaker match.
Bad Blood.
Mine was I just remember hanging out with my abuelito and watching Saturday Univision, and Lucha Libre was on, and I remember watching it with him. Like, so can you recall that first memory for you where it kind of was like, oh, this is a thing. Oh, okay, cool, this is a thing.
For sure. Definitely. I have a very core memory, like that exact thing. It was Undertaker and Paul Bearer, seeing them for the first time. And I just remember distinctly as a child, the purple gloves. And I had a nightmare one time that he went for the choke slam. You know what I mean? As a kid, because it was so, looking at his image for the first time is scary. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want any of that, and it stuck with me. So that's when I discovered wrestling, and I kind of knew what wrestling was. But I didn't get into it until I was a teenager. So I didn't like
Right.
start becoming a fan of it until I was a teen. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, man. I mean, it's like, I love how you like said it. It's a core memory because you're right. I think the reason why that Bad Blood debut of Kane debut really was so like burned into my brain is because I can't unsee Kane ripping the door off the hinges of the Hell in a Cell. Like that is just burned into my brain, and I'm just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Well, I
Like,
mean,
I gotta
and hearing
watch.
JR just scream, "It's gotta be
Yeah,
Kane! That's
yeah.
gotta be
Gotta
Kane!"
be Kane.
Like that plays in your head over
Yeah.
and over and
100%.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, you know what? I got to watch Monday night. I got to see what's happening, you know, and then
You got
the
hooked.
floodgates open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So now, Ortiz, about you then. Let's jump into the over the years, you know, for the longest you've been repping the Bronx for years, you know, and what we wanted to know was, how did your neighborhood, the culture, upbringing help define your in-ring attitude and energy? Because I like, that's the beauty of what you bring to the table. Again, you're not a gimmick. You are just, you know, a straight New Yorker, a Latino New Yorker that's ready to take names and take titles. You know what I mean?
I've lived all over New York throughout my whole entire childhood up until adulthood. So I've gotten experiences from spending my high school years in Brooklyn. As a kid, it was mostly in the Bronx because my grandmother would take care of me. I lived there until about 7 or 8, and then we moved. But then my grandmother would watch me all the time. So I was basically on the Grand Concourse for a good 4 years of my life. And just growing up in that area and seeing drug deals for the first time, I remember going, whoa, as a kid, you know.
Yeah.
All that has an effect on you, especially psychologically and maybe subconsciously while you're growing up. You kind of see your environment and it's crazy. But I've seen all different sides of New York, and it definitely just the different cultures and the different type of friends that I have. I have friends from all different backgrounds. You know, if you're in a smaller community, that's not going to be as much. And New York is special in that. I think any major city, but New York especially is special. Just, man, you throw a stone and then you're like in Little Italy, or you're in Chinatown, or you have all these neighborhoods that are so unique and it's so cool. And then the food. So I think growing up in that environment made me 100% who I was, in the sense that I wasn't really playing a role on television. You know what I mean? Or I don't really play a role on television when I do that.
Right.
It's just who I am, just turned up. Like I just have to really turn it up because I don't have the energy anymore because I'm an old man now. But it's just turned up. Honestly, my character is more like teenage me. You know how I was that at that age versus now. I'm a dad. I'm boring. You know what I mean? I live in the suburbs.
Hey, we all get to that point. We have to, because I'm like you in this, and that I lived in the Bronx up until I was about 4 years old, and then my parents moved us out to Jersey. But every weekend we went back to Menard Avenue and Southern Boulevard, and my abuelita was watching us all the weekend. So I was like 8, 9 years old, and then they moved to Florida, and then I was down there with them. But having that culture, like, and knowing that where you're coming from, like, I understand that. That's awesome. See, that's part of what we love to do this, so that people can feel themselves in those moments where these larger than life athletes and superstars like you guys, you know, are us, you know, and are, you know, everyday people. And it's great to hear those beginnings and that you were able to factor New York into you, because like you said, this isn't a character. This is you being you. Just roll back the years a little bit.
But I also like the aspect of playing the character in pro wrestling as well. I like being over the top and just out there, or a classic villain is ridiculous. So I have a sense of humor, but I also tap into that more stoic side and serious side.
All right.
Well, and so Eddie mentioned before how wrestling has kind of gone back to almost territories where now you can catch all these indie shows. And I think not a lot, but recently a lot has to do with AEW in terms of that aspect, because before then it was just WWE. TNA was around, you know, Impact what is Impact now, was around for a little bit, but you were saying you were you know, in Impact and TNA prior to AEW, because I know that WWE was out there. I mean, but was there ever a thought of like, I'm in TNA and I'm winning championships and this is fantastic. I need more. I wish there was more. Was there something else that maybe you wanted to do, or was it just locked and trying to see if maybe I can get a WWE contract to talk? Or hey, there's a new promotion coming around. Maybe they'll call. Like, was there ever a time that you were just kind of like, I'm good, but maybe I should move to something else, or has this always just been burnt in you and up until to present day?
For sure we had that moment in TNA for sure. We already were like 4-time champions or however much it was. My memory is terrible when it comes to actually remembering my accolades. But we got to the point where we were like, what's next? What do we do next? Do we just keep feuding for the titles? At the time, we didn't plan on breaking up. That's almost a natural progression of a tag team if there's nothing else for you to do. So, I mean, luckily enough for us, we had AEW and WWE both interested in us while we were on the contract with TNA. And we contemplated maybe staying at TNA for another year, maybe give it one more year. Working there was awesome, man. And we got treated so well. We were their guys for a good period of time. But we hit that wall, figuratively, the wall, and we were just like, we need a change up and we need to do something new. And that's ultimately why we went over to AEW. But yes, to answer your question long-windedly, we 100% had that moment. Multiple times throughout my career, we've had moments where it's like, okay, we need to change, because you don't want to become stagnant. You don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's why in AEW, we were LAX-esque, you know what I mean? But we were also playing a different role within the inner circle. So, and I was definitely more comedic very early on in the inner circle days.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were.
But I was experimenting. Honestly, I just wanted to experiment. I was like, I'm naturally goofy, so I'm just gonna put on my goof and see if some people like it, some people don't. I get it. I understand. But that's just me experimenting. And I love that I have the opportunity to just try something new and see if it sticks. When I first debuted for AEW, I was doing this tongue thing where I was like a Tasmanian devil type stuff, but I got told specifically to stop doing that. They were like, yo, it's kind of weird. Like, chill with that. I was like, okay. Sorry, my bad.
My bad. And then you just throw one in there just one more time. Like,
it was hard. It was hard to break the habit. The next segment that we did, I remember going to stick on my tongue and going, oh no. I was like, don't do it.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. Okay. So, all right. So now, based on what you just said, as far as your tag team days, right? Now, like, you've always been associated with that. So what part now of being like a solo wrestler now feels most exciting or most challenging, right? Like, is there anything?
For sure. Like, my brain is hardwired for tag team wrestling. I love tag team wrestling. I just think it's 4 different paints versus 2 paints. In a singles match, it's like having primary colors, but then you have more options with a tag team. It's just more to throw at. And I love, which was our bread and butter, when a team works as one cohesive unit and do stuff together and do cool things. So my brain was hardwired for that. Going over to singles, it's like, all right, I need to think about it. I could kind of still do the same thing, but it's different. Because you go with other people's timing and how they move in the ring. And honestly, it's been a challenge for me just making that switch. But I'm experimenting. I'm doing a lot of independence just to experiment. I'm very fortunate that AEW allows us to do independence. So I'm taking advantage of it. And it's very cool because I get to see fans I haven't seen in forever. I was just up in Canada and seeing fans that basically saw my whole entire come up and seeing them that they've known me for over a decade. And it's very cool when I get to see them and reconnect with them. And I love that I'm able to do that. But it's also giving me the opportunity to work out the kinks, like figure out what's my moveset now, how I want to present myself as a wrestler. So going with what you said earlier, I'm trying to lean more towards a Dean Malenko-esque type, serious, all business type character, just because I want to show that I can actually wrestle. I feel like in our AEW career, also as LAX, was very typecast as a gimmick match wrestler. Always a crazy concrete jungle, barbed wire death match, stadium stampede. I was just a gimmick wrestler. Parking lot brawl, one of our best achievements in AEW for sure, would be up there. But that was kind of what we do well. But now I have an opportunity to change that and change my perception in people's eyes, and that excites me. And honestly, that's what keeps me going and gives me the drive to try to get better at it, because I hate singles wrestling.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
No, well, that's kind of crazy, because I remember when we asked Mac something similar, he was saying that, he likes the singles, but like kind of like you, he was used to the tagging.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue with tag matches is that you have to cater to 3 other egos. Well, 4, including yourself.
Sure.
So it's like, it's one of those situations where, like, muscle memory, yes, he likes the tag, but he also enjoys the singles also, because it's like, that allows him that freedom to experiment, to be able to try some things out. But like you said, your brain is like looking back to the corner and you're like, oh, wait.
Yeah. Or thinking how to transition into something for someone else to get into the mix.
Right. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a completely different way of thinking. You have to like kind of turn that one side of your brain off and be like, I need to recall some of that, but not all of it. Like, I need to have my move set and everything, but I can't be looking back, because there is no way that I have to worry about getting Santana in or Jericho or whoever.
Exactly.
So
for instance, my brain will go to, okay, if I'm getting my ass whooped, how do we transition into a higher moment in the match to get the crowd back up? And then when I'm by myself, I now have to figure out, I'm not relying on someone else. I better have good cardio, because I need to bring the fuego, coming back and doing something. But yeah,
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you brought up a good point a few moments ago, that AEW does let you do like independence and things along those lines, because we've seen some physical matches that you've done in CZW and beyond, stuff like I mean, some crazy stuff. So a question that being that we're speaking about larger promotions and smaller promotions, what is one of, I don't want to say like necessarily underground, but what's not one of the larger based promotions that you think people are sleeping on, but that means something to you, that is anyone in particular, or is it just kind of an amalgam of all of them?
There's definitely specific ones that stand out, like a House of Glory, Beyond Wrestling, C4 up in Canada. Trying to think who else jumps to mind. Alpha One up in Canada. Really cool places that had a huge effect in my career. So I have a special place, so I'm biased. I'm going to put them over. but Beyond, awesome. I love Beyond Wrestling, when we were first breaking in, really gave us the matches to get better, put us in there with people with higher caliber talent. So if you're not wrestling people better than you, you're going to stay stagnant and stay the same. Every time I've gotten better in my career is because I've been put in a situation where it's either sink or swim. You either step it up because you're in the ring with the Young Bucks for the first time. I remember having that feeling. It's time to step it up, like tricking myself into thinking I'm better than I actually was. And, just having that mindset, you have to believe in yourself. But yeah, Beyond Wrestling specifically, I remember the first times you mentioned Steve a couple of times, wrestling the Hit Squad there. And I was a huge Ring of Honor, early Ring of Honor mark. You can see me on DVDs in the crowd yelling at wrestlers. I used to take the bus rides from the city and go see these shows. And so when I really, the bug hit me, it was me getting into that era of independent wrestling, because being in New York, very lucky. The hotbed was right there in the tri-state area. It's just, you go to Philly, You had Ring of Honor. You had other companies that would pop up and run. I remember Blue Meanie had one for a little bit, 3PW or something like that. Can't remember. But he would have just like random fire matches. And Christopher Daniels is my favorite wrestler. And I remember he was in the main and I got in a bus ride and he got on the bus and I was marking out as a fan. I was like, yo, stop playing. That's him. And he went to say what's up for the bus. And I was like starstruck at the time. And it was very cool. Yeah. But being in that hotbed of wrestling was very fortunate. And then getting introduced to the Hit Squad, Jersey All Pro, their early Ring of Honor stuff. I was, heavy influences very early on in our career. So then when we got to finally wrestle them at Beyond, it was a little bit of a passing of the torch kind of thing. Like testing us, and then we were already accepted by them, but that was the real test. Like we were cool off the back before we even touched or locked up. And then after wrestling them and getting the respect, how you should earn it in the ring, it was very cool. But if it wasn't for Beyond Wrestling, I don't think that would have happened for us, honestly, because they had the talent was unreal. There's so many people that are signed to AEW and signed to WWE that went through Beyond Wrestling. So it was a hotbed for a long time, and it still is. They have a lot of good talent up there now. Also, before GCW became GCW, they were JCW. We wrestled for them at Six Flags Great Adventures. It was we were at the Batman stunt show, and that's where they put up the ring and everything. And it was really cool. That was like one of the biggest matches that we would have at that point. It was awesome that we were wrestling in Six Flags. So we rented like a 15-passenger van, stocked it up with mad people, our family, friends, and drove up, and they came to watch us wrestle. And it was a very cool moment. Awesome. Dope. But that moment would always stick with me, and it was very big deal for me. And I got to wrestle Tommy Dreamer. I think it was Tommy Dreamer, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, or was it the Patriot, Tom Brady? And Nick Gage. I can't remember who the third person was, but just random. I'm wrestling Tommy Dreamer and the Patriot or Hacksaw, whoever it was. I know he was on the show, or maybe he came in towards the end. I can't rember. But yeah, again, wrestler brain. I can't remember the stuff.
Hey, man. But taking some bumps. You're taking bumps.
Yeah. But those companies very influential on House of Glory. We got to wrestle the Hardys and the Dudleys. One of the last Dudley Boy matches,
nice,
until recently. But that was sick at the time. I was like, what am I? What am I doing here? Living the boyhood dream for real. Like teenage me, every time I'm in those moments, I don't take it for granted. I'm like, this is awesome. And I've had so much more through TNA and then getting into AEW.
Man, that is so awesome. Okay. Yeah. So in that same train of thought, right? So many stories, so many promotions, so many places, right? Do you recall or remember the first time a young wrestler who's been watching you behind the scenes, moving around, doing this kind of stuff that you were doing, ever came up to you and said, man, like you inspired me? Do you remember A, who it was, and then B, what that moment felt like?
I don't remember who it was. I do remember the moment. It was the one and only time I probably met him. Excuse me if we met more than once. I apologize if you're out there. But I was at some indie show. I forgot where it was. But he was a young aspiring wrestler, and he came up to me. He said super kind words, and he got over how influential I was for him to even wanting to start wrestling. And it was a very cool moment. And I'm weirded out when I get compliments, but the kid was like very sincere, and I got socially awkward for a second. I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't want to give him a weird moment, right? Because if he's saying all this, which I believe him, I don't want to be, you meet your idol and he's a weirdo. Yeah. But very cool. I gave him practical advice that I would give anybody. And I just got over the point that it's going to be a hard journey. There's going to be times you're not going to want to do it, or you're going to question why you're doing this. More than likely, your family, your friends will question you. Like, what are you doing? Every wrestler I know has gotten that. But yeah, just keep going. If this is something you want to do, you can't quit. If you quit, that's when you fail. You don't fail if you don't quit, and just have a singular purpose and keep driving forward. But having that moment with that wrestler / fan, inspired me more to want to become a teacher and open up a training facility, which is what I'm in the process of doing. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
That's great, man.
Let's
That's
go.
awesome.
Yeah.
Pass the
All right.
knowledge down. That's what's wonderful about individuals like yourself. Someone who not only loves the craft but wants to teach others about it and make it better for everyone moving forward, because you do love it that much.
Yeah.
And that's inspiring and fantastic to hear. And best of luck with
Thank you.
that school. Absolutely, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
man.
Now we were speaking earlier about how you felt like a lot of times you were kind of in gimmick matches, the street fights or the this and that. So then, and even into now as a singles wrestler, in terms of your look, your attitude, your hair, like how much involvement did you have in the crafting of your character back when you considering, or when you considered yourself what they would say a gimmick, as to where you are now? And how has that evolved? And how much input do you have in crafting your character?
Sure. Fortunately, 100%. AEW is slightly different than WWE. They're a little bit more hands-on. AEW's hands-on with certain people if you're coming in for a certain role. You know what I mean? But yeah, 100% on me. Even when I looked like a hobo on television at times, I go back and I was like, I go back and watch older stuff, and I'm like, what was I thinking? Like I came out looking like that, looking like a maniac. There's just one picture that made it onto a trading card, and I hate it every time I have to sign it because it just reminds me of, man, what was going through your head at that moment? Are you okay? Just looking crazy. Just all over the place. Hair was crazy. I had dandruff. I'm like, nah, dog.
It changes now. Like you said, you're a dad now.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, how can I leave the house? And I was going on TV. What has happened?
100%.
You have those moments.
Yeah.
But that's real. You know what I mean? That's the real element factor there, because you say that and it made you cringe for that moment. But I remember my roommate Rich in college. He, Dominicano, got the big fro, big beard. Like that's what it is.
Sure. I mean, that was the whole thing behind it. It gave me a distinct look, so people would remember me. I when I wrestle in front of fans for the first time, they might not remember my name, but they'll look at me and they're like, "Oh yeah," because I have a unique look, for sure.
Very distinct. Distinct.
I hate the hair now. I'm only keeping it for wrestling. If not, I'd shave it off. Honestly, I'm ready to go bald. I don't need to go back. I'm good. Yeah,
it's freeing. Yeah, it's very freeing. Very freeing.
I'm jealous. I have to take care of it, especially now at age. If I don't take care of it, it gets all flaky. It breaks apart. And I'm just lazy now. I don't want to do the products and everything. Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah, but to go with your question, a big thing now is trying to transform that look into something else, where I'm wearing, on the independents at least, I'm wearing actual wrestling gear, like old school black tiger mask type deep cup singlet or hoovy, kind of that style of singlet. And I'm experimenting with that in colors. Like I'm about to get more colors made. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm throwing stuff to the wall, see what sticks, see what works, and what people are reacting to, and I'm keeping it. Every independent match that I've done has been slightly different, because I want to wrestle different styles to just get out my comfort zone and be like, okay, I'm in a comedy match. How do I'm going to flow this? Or I'm in a serious match. How am I going to flow this? Or I'm in a gimmick match, which please don't book me for gimmick matches. I don't want to do them, but I'll do them. You know what I mean? The hustler in me will do them, but yeah. But that's changing with time, and luckily it's because I can do pretty much what I want. So I'm just seeing what sticks, trying to find myself again. Stella's trying to get her groove back. I know that's a dated reference, but that shows my age.
You're good here, bro. You're good here. Because I probably got you by about 10 years, so I'm down.
Awesome. Okay, so then now in that same train of thought, then um where you are now as a singles competitor, do you feel like places like AEW have seen your full potential yet? Or is there a version of Ortiz that there's like fans are still like haven't seen yet?
For sure. That's what I'm working on right now is trying to get out my comfort zone, working on things, working on my weaknesses, and just trying to find the right formula. I like to break it down into formulas in my head, or sequences, or just like general outlines, and then I play within that picture that I set for myself. But I'm still trying to find what the picture looks like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I definitely want to show that side. That goes back to what I was saying earlier. That's why I want to be the more serious wrestler, throw technical with lucha and some slick moves in between. You know what I mean? To spice it up. So I'm just trying to find that and also find the pace that I can keep up doing that style of wrestling, because it's very demanding cardiovascularly, and then on your body, because you're taking more damage when you wrestle harder style like that. So I'm trying to find the right balance, because just catching up, years in wrestling are catching up, and I want to go past 20 years. I'm at 16 now. So nice. I plan on going at least another 15. 30 is the goal, but we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Yeah, but then you know what? If that's the case, then I mean, this is just a suggestion, and you hear it first on Primos for Life, right? Maybe the way to go is to shave off the head, because then you become, you know, that association with the awesome goofiness that is Ortiz, you know, with the hair. You get rid of that. Now you're like, oh man, this is not the Ortiz that we know.
Ortiz 2.0.
Sure.
You know,
maybe that's the way to go. And then that way you get them both, you know, two birds, one stone, because then you get, you know, Florida's hot, you know what I'm saying? You want to be cool the whole time, you know? So.
We'll see what's up. maybe you dropped a little nugget.
All right. Little something. That's great that you and you mentioned before, and I meant to say before that you're going to that Dean Malenko Man of 1,000 Holds, trying to be more technically savvy, because I think that lends more to you just growing in terms of your wrestling talent and acumen. Now you've worked with a lot of legends. I mean, Conan, Jericho. I mean, so who's would you say off camera has been like one of your biggest influences in terms of like being able to pick the brains of these legends, of these you know, these people who've paved the way for you? Like who would you say is you know, one of the top guys that you're just like, man, that really means a lot that they took the time to do that or teach me, or how?
Conan for sure is a huge one, for sure. He taught us how to deal with business backstage, so that's a whole other world to navigate and deal with. So learning from him was very beneficial. And also advice about in the ring and our stuff, and tightening up our style. He would always have nitpicks for us. He was like, all that other stuff is great. Fix this, and that. When we were in LAX, he played a heavy hand into really, when we started hitting our groove there, was closely associated with him and Homicide. Homicide would be the other person. I talk to him all the time. He gives me crazy workouts to do, and I love it. But they're torturing, soul torturing. But he's another big influence, man. Obviously, we worked a huge angle with them in TNA and Impact with LAX and the OGs. And we got to do so much with him and be in the ring with him multiple times. And before we became LAX, we wrestled them. Jersey All Pro kind of came back up for a little bit. We wrestled him and Hernandez for the first time while we were still doing our EYFBO gimmick. This is like right before we got in TNA. And it's funny, like however months later, we're now becoming the new LAX. It was weird. It's weird how the world works. But those two for sure, big ones. Jericho's so dope. Just seeing how his brain works, and he's had so much longevity in wrestling. Whether I know he gets heat from the fans now, but regardless, he's still making people talk about him. You know what I mean? And he leans into it now, which I find even better. He's just trolling the trollers. He goes, okay, you're going to say that? Now I'm going to lean into it and do exactly what you're saying I'm doing. But seeing that, and he's such a dope human being, man. Jerko's dope. Eddie Kingston for sure is even a mentor
Nice.
now. He's I was just training with him. He's trying to help me with what I was talking about earlier, and just being in the ring and training. I love that aspect. I love training more than I actually do being in the ring, if that makes sense.
Whoa.
Because I
Wow.
like working on my weaknesses and developing those strengths and seeing my hard work pay off. Versus
Nice.
the ring is the final product. I enjoy the
Right.
journey more, if that makes sense.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
makes sense. That's
absolutely.
awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Well, because you get to see it when it's polished in that final
Yes,
product, and
yeah.
then you get to relive what got you to that
Yes.
moment in
Yeah.
time, and it was all that dedication and time that you put in to get
Yeah,
that
the
spot. Right?
10,000 hours to do the one move nice for one moment in a match.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Worth
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
But that speaks once again volumes about you and who you are in terms of your craft is what matters, and improving it and getting better on that is more important than not more important, but it means more to you than the show that's going on out there,
Yeah.
because that, without what you've done to lead up to that doesn't happen. So you need all
For
that.
sure.
So that's once again a testament to you as a wrestler. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now, Ortiz,
Yep.
real quick then. So based on what you've told us so far, and you also mentioned, like, you're not trying to do these gimmick type matches, at this stage of the career, but you have done some gritty, crazy street fights,
Sure.
and you've done some amazing cinematic, like wrestling matches, with the Stampede and stuff. So what kind of matches would you want to explore now, like in today's day and age, more so like maybe an Iron Man match, maybe like a submission match, or we want to revisit a death match again? Where's your mind at with those type of matches?
Death match, I'm nah. I mean, if the circumstances call for it, then yeah, I'm not gonna not do it. But I won't ever suggest it. I would say I would love to do a Ring of Honor Pure Rules match.
Okay.
I would love to do that style of wrestling, just because it's more challenging for me to do it and keep it exciting. All the people that do it well, like Danielson or Zack Sabre Jr., they fine tuned and crafted that technical style, but still makes it exciting, right? And that's something I'm actively working on, and I would love to implement that, and that be the test for me. So I would say that, because that's technically a gimmick match because it's special and it has rules. And definitely I would love to challenge myself in an Iron Man match. That's a huge test of your skills, because you have to keep the crowd into it for 30 or 60 minutes, however long the Iron Man match is. Like if it's traditional 60 minutes, that's an hour. You have to keep people hooked for an hour. And on top of that, you have to be in amazing shape to keep people hooked, because you have to keep moving. You have to keep, it's going to go up and down. It's like a roller coaster, that type of match, more so than any other type of match.
Yeah. I mean, you said it, and then you brought up Iron Man matches, and I instantly thought of like Brett and Sean. You know what I mean? Like Brett was one of the best to do it, because they took their time and they really like honed in and like mastered the craft of just keeping the people engaged for 60 plus minutes.
It's a wild feat. If you can do it and do it well, it's a testament to how good you are as a pro wrestler.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I have just one question that on some behind the scenes stuff, because I remember when we spoke to Monster, he actually told us to ask you this question, because he was like, ask him what was going through his mind when he was rappelling down the street. Like, because he was like, we've all done some crazy stuff. He goes, but if you ever talk to Ortiz, he's like, ask him what was going through his mind, and because we're talking about gimmick matches and stuff like that. So what like, as this is happening, because I'm someone who is not a fan of heights. So I'd be going down like just mumbling motherfuckers the entire time. So what was going through your mind as you're going down this screen and know that you're about to get into this hellacious match?
Sure. In all honesty, it was don't shit your pants. Don't shit your pants. I'm 100%. I'm okay with heights. Heights don't freak me out, but that was super high up. I don't think for anything I've ever done that I've been that high in the air on a ledge, maybe on a bridge or something, but It was
Wow.
it was wild. So we were sitting on the edge, and we're all hooked up. We went through like one safety test, I think it was, only one to
Oh my
to make
God.
sure you're
Yeah.
good. But
Ooh.
we did harness checks and all that stuff, all that safety things. So then we're hooked up, and there's people belaying us on the bottom. So they're the one giving us slack to come down,
Okay.
and they're on the floor. So we're up on the edge of the screen, and we have to sit right at the edge. And the whole entire time, I do not look down. I was like, I'm not looking down, because if I look down, I'm gonna freeze. I know I am.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was just looking left to right. We were all talking shit, whatever, joking around. And then they were like, all right, we're gonna start. Let's get this first time, because I didn't want to do it again. So we need to get this on the first go. So as soon as they said 3, 2, 1, go, I didn't think about it and just went. And I was like, please don't shit your pants. Please don't shit your pants. And then there was like a bungee motion to it. You know, I went down and back up. And then when I snagged, my fingernail almost got ripped off.
Oof.
Because I accidentally, at an instinct, grabbed the carabiner area, and it whipped my nail. I got it taped up, and I wrestled a match still, but yeah, I almost lost a finger.
Yeah. So essentially, you're thinking, "Don't shit your pants," and damn, I hope my fingers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I wasn't thinking about shitting my pants anymore, because I was like, my finger hurts. Damn, I was like, that sucked. But once we settled and you trust the gear, we're good.
Right.
I was like, okay, the nerves went away. It was just the initial jump in the pool was just like, ah.
Yeah, once you get that kind of pull back up, you're kind of like, shit, like what just happened? Like, yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, that's as honest as answers I think we've gotten on the show. So thank you for that.
No doubt.
Yeah, because when we had Angel Medina on the show, he said that you know, and I'll never forget it. He said he's not afraid of heights. He's afraid of falling. There's a difference, right?
Sure.
Like falling and heights are two different things.
Agreed.
And you know, hearing your story, you're just like, okay, yeah, you know, you probably did the right thing, just staring out and not looking down, because then
move, not looking
you would have
around.
froze, you know. So
100%.
I mean, any of us, anybody, you know what I mean? Like, oh man, that is so awesome. Okay, so now just to kind of bring this home and, you know, get your thoughts on, you know, the future, right? When it comes to your career, like there's always that like, hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years, right? So in 5 years from now, you know, what is the definition of success, and what does that look like for you when it comes to titles, freedom, legacy, the school that you mentioned, you know, things like that. If you had to bring it all together, where do you want to be at in 5 years from now?
I have a very clear 5-year goal in my mind. I'm huge into visualization. Not always in my life, but I am now. Like having a goal, it keeps you going when you're not motivated. Discipline and motivation are two different things. Motivation comes and goes. I've yo-yoed my whole life, and I've done things but haven't stuck with them and haven't followed through because of just, you know, you get tired and you lose motivation to do it. So having goals and having set goals is what, and having certain milestones within those goals, like leading up to it. I need to do this so I can get here, so I can get here. Just keeps me focused on what's right in front of me. And so my 5-year plan is I want to, within the 5 years, go wrestle in Japan for the first time. I've been there, but I haven't wrestled there yet. And Japanese wrestling is really what got me into wanting to become a pro wrestler. So it's always been a goal of mine. And last year I got to go watch a show at Hurricane Hall. I think it was a Stardom show. I'm pretty sure it was. But it was sick just being in Hurricane Hall. I was just sitting there and I was just like, yo, this place looks so much different than on camera. On camera, the place looks so much bigger, but it's such a small building. Such an intimate setting. And I was just envisioning myself wrestling in that ring and being in the middle of the ring. And the girls were killing it. The crowd was behind it. Classic Japanese wrestling crowd. It was awesome. So for me, I was just like, oh man, I was getting goosebumps. But wrestling in Japan in some capacity, and having the school be successful, having a training facility and working on it and becoming a better coach. I've been doing a lot of trainings at different places. I went to Beyond School Bio Pro Wrestling. Awesome group of guys, awesome place.
Yeah.
I love it. I've gone there 2 times and have done like a day or 2 each time. And it's awesome. I got that bug to want to teach and get better. And then how do you do it? Just like I'm doing within the ring, I need to start teaching different types of people, all different types of level. And that's what I'm just putting myself in now in preparations to having the school, because I want it to be structured. I've been to wrestling schools, not the ones that I mentioned, but like coming up back in the day, and they're the shits. There's just, you know what I mean? You kind of just, the inmates are running the asylum. There's no structure. There's no clear goal. And it's just kind of like whatever. I learned in those environments, but I wish I had someone that, how I want to be, someone like me to guide me and show me very early on. I got that guidance later in my career already when I was kind of making it. I wish year 1 I had better, clear guidance. I had good guidance from different wrestlers and my trainers early on, but also just getting me into the mindset and looking at the total picture. Because coming up in wrestling, you're just excited to be in the ring. You're like, yo, I'm in the ring. You're not thinking about everything else it takes, the physical aspect of it, or also having the gift of gab. You need to be able to sell yourself and promote yourself. That's how you captivate people. There's people that are terrible wrestlers, but they have amazing mic work and they got the people. You know what I mean? That is probably the most important aspect. You know what I mean? What you do in the ring is secondary to setting up that story and being captivating when you're talking. But yeah, stuff like that. That won't be my department. I could do promos, but that won't be my department. I'll get a friend to do that. But just that's where I see myself in the next 5 years. And then 10 years down the road would be headlining a pay-per-view. For AEW or headlining or All In, you know what I mean? And being the headline, that would be a huge achievement, and that's my ultimate goal. If I put in the work and do so much volume, there's no way I'm not gonna achieve that.
That's awesome.
Nice.
See, that's the thought process to have, man. It's just it seems like everything that you've put your mind to, you've been able to get to. So I think this is just another step on your ladder to greatness, my man. So that sounds fantastic.
Thank you, man.
And having that plan and knowing what you want to do. I think it's interesting also that you said it before, coming in as a younger wrestler, not having someone, having the guidance of wrestlers around you, but not having someone to properly sit there and teach you and say, no, this is how you're going to want to pay attention to this and things along those lines. You've learned later on in your career. And as you've matured, I think that also helps kind of form you into the wrestler you are and the teacher you want to become, ideally, when you do open the school.
For sure. I got that guidance like from a Homicide. I still do. He still helped guiding me through my career to this day, even though I'm 16 plus years in, but he's 30 plus. You know what I mean? He's got it. His knowledge, he's forgotten more about wrestling than I will probably ever learn. But I achieve to take any to be as good as a mentor as him. He's set the bar very high.
So then I know we were wrapping up, but you said something really interesting, because you threw in a 10-year plan, and that struck for like a bonus question. So bonus question, and then truly final question, and then
we appreciate the time you give us.
No doubt. I'm just gonna go run after this. That's my plan for the day.
Nice.
Well, I've been busy all week, so I just, today is chill, go run and have some ice cream. So we good.
There you go.
Eddie, make it fast. It'll be quick. He needs ice cream, dude.
All right. So 10-year plan. Okay. In that case, then, can you name just a few people off the top of your head, dream matches, who you would want to headline that match with?
Yeah, who do you want to headline that match with?
Yeah, exactly. And really quick, while you're thinking, also, because you're a pro, we always try to throw this one in there too. Match of all time, like who would you, if they were still around, if they were alive, who would you want to go against in the ring? So those two, and then that's it, we're done.
So to answer the second one, Kurt Angle would be who I want to get in the ring with. Talk about testing yourself. I would want to prime Kurt Angle. Oh my god. I'm a huge. He's my number 2 of all time. It's rare. My list always changes, but my top 3 rarely ever change. My 4 or 5 will change throughout the years.
Flip flop.
The Kurt Angle for sure. Opponents, Marufuji. I was in one match with him. In Impact. It was a multi-man match, but I didn't really get to mix it up with him. So it was him and Ishimori, LAX. There was a lucha team. I forget exactly who it was, but it was almost I love when TNA used to do that back in the day. They would have the international like tag match where they had like guys from Japan, guys from Mexico. So it was that version of that in Impact. But Marufuji, because I didn't get to mix it up with him in that match, I would love to do it in Japan. Obviously, ideally, to do it over there. I would love to start teaming up again with Eddie and maybe doing like a tag league. That's always a huge. Again, I'd rather be a tag team wrestler.
You love the tag, you love the
Plus,
tag.
he could beat them up, and I'll take the beating. We good. We got a great dynamic.
See, you have a plan. You already have a plan.
But that would be dope. Doing a tag league. Trying to think of specific opponents. I mean, they're in WWE now, but never say never. Motor City Machine Guns for sure. Always been on the top of my list. The number one was the Briscoes, and fortunately enough, we got to do it when Jay was still alive. May he rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
But Motor City Machine Guns for sure, in whatever capacity. I would love to do it with Eddie or whatever. I would just say, selfishly, I don't care. Whoever's my partner, we'll make it work, baby.
Nice.
Oh man, that is so awesome. Oh, okay. All right. Well, Ariel, this is
really... Well, I mean, we once again we want to just sincerely and wholeheartedly thank you for giving us this amount of time, because we know you are extremely busy, not only as a wrestler, but as a father, as a husband, you have plenty of things that you need to be taking care of
24/7.
It never stops, man. It never stops. The kids upstairs running around right now. I'm like, so
I'm recording.
We want to wholeheartedly thank you for giving us a little bit of your time. And we also want to give you this moment to let everybody know where we can find you: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, whatever you got. Please, any information that you have leading up to the school, and also letting you know that whenever you want, you are more than welcome to come back here, throw us any information. When the school comes out, we'll try and do whatever we can to help you out. But please let us and our listeners know where we can find you, where we can see you, and all the great stuff, because I think after listening to the interview that we just had, people who don't necessarily know who you are or haven't really delved into you, I think that's going to change.
Yeah.
So please let us know the best way to do that.
I'm the most active on Instagram. I'm old. I can't talk myself into getting TikTok. I've been going back and forth. I know it's a popular app, and I'm leaving money on the table by not doing it. But I just can't. I can't download the app. Yeah, because I know I'll get caught up in doom scrolling. I don't have time to doom scroll. It's addicting for a reason, because the algorithm is going to curate your perfect feed. And then you just, before you know it, you killed like 2 hours. And you're like, what did I do? I can't do it. Yeah. So that's another reason. But really it's because I can't. I'm too old. But Instagram and X is Ortiz_powerful. And it's on both platforms. I do Twitter sometimes. I mostly repost or retweet. Instagram, when I'm feeling up to it, again, going back to me being lazy and not wanting to post stuff, but I'll do fitness related stuff. And then of course I'll be promoting when I open up the school, and I'll definitely let you guys know what's up. Yes. And I'm going to have to get someone to run the social media page for the school, because if not,
You haven't downloaded TikTok yet. You might.
Yeah, exactly. Let them take care of it. It'd be cool. The school can have a TikTok. That's great. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But again, Ortiz, a million thanks. You have been such a fantastic guest. We are so truly honored to have you on the show.
And humbled.
Humbled. And spending this time with you, learning more about you, getting to know you even better. And you are a friend of the podcast. Whenever you want to come on, chop it up.
Please,
and
please feel free to come back whenever you want.
Or anyone. Like, we're in.
I got you.
Anytime.
I appreciate everything. I appreciate all the kind words and all that stuff, man. It means a lot to me, honestly. I know I get weirded out, and I'm like, okay, Thank you. But I appreciate it. It does. It means a lot to me. Honestly, when I have low moments and I think about stuff like that and think about letting people down, it honestly gets me through low moments in my wrestling career. So, and when I was injured, I was going through a low moment, but I'm in a better place now because of stuff like that. I appreciate you fellas, and definitely I'll come back on. We'll talk.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to do round 2 of this. It's going to be fantastic, man. Thank you so much once again, Ortiz. And once again, for our people and our cultura and everything, man. There's because I know that this, and I want to have this conversation with you, so I definitely would like to have you back about the tribulations that you had to face as a Latino, getting into this industry.
Sure.
Even though you did it later on, and it was a time where people were supposed to be more apt to, various races and stuff like that. It's still not and still wasn't. So I would love to pick your brain about that
for sure
at another time. So whenever you have some time, please. But thank you wholeheartedly once again for everything you do, not just for us here on the podcast, but for our people and just wrestling as a whole, for all the wrestling fans everywhere. Thank you for making wrestling just a little bit brighter with everything that you do.
Hell yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you, fellas. Peace.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy your run. Enjoy your ice cream. Well deserved.
Enjoy the ice cream.
We'll be connected soon.
One more question. What's the flavor?
Oh, I think I got vanilla bean right now. I know that's very plain, but it's Halo Top. That's the only way I can, in my brain, I can be like, I could eat ice cream. It's 300 calories.
300 calories, bro. That's just, that's like a 20-minute walk.
Yeah, exactly.
Burn that bad boy off.
All right, fellas.
All right, brother. Thank you again, man. You're the man.
Thank you, man.
Take care.
Family.
Peace.
You got it.
Woo!
That was fun, man. That was fun. He's a great dude, man. He's a down to earth, really solid dude, man. That's and a smart guy, very intelligent guy.
Yeah,
very intelligent. It's I feel like people unfortunately they see wrestlers and it's always the big oaf and the big this and that, not realizing the intelligence level that these men have to do, and women have to do what they do and to call the matches and just to be able to have the plan. Like he said, he's got his 5-year plan, he's got his 10-year plan. He wants to do the school. So that was fantastic, man. What a great guy. I look forward to having him back because I definitely do want to pick his brain on a few other things. So that was great. That was fun.
Yeah, man, bro. It's funny because right before we connected, I was already fanboying out. I was like, because you have to understand, I always said to myself, and I'm pretty sure I said this to you behind the scenes, if we ever got, one of these guys on the pod, we got to give them their flowers for what they've done
absolutely
for, and I told Homicide this too, when I spoke to him a few weeks back, the impact and the things that they've done, they have no idea how. I mean, they do, but they need to be reminded and hear it often because it does. If you're paying attention, it doesn't go unnoticed. And this is why we have the Damian Priest, the Zelina Vegas, and more coming. I mean, the Stephanie Vaquer. I mean, think about it. I mean, yes, she's, what is it? She's from Chile, ¿verdad?
Yeah, Chile. Yeah.
So look at that. We're opening up more and more and breaking down this wall of
break down the wall.
just not just lucha and Caribbean gimmicks. No, we are more than that, and I think Ortiz brought that home for us.
And that's great. I'm glad and awesome that he takes that seriously and that he runs with that, because that's the thing. A lot of times rather, I'm afraid that sometimes people aren't really amped to take that ball and run with it. And he doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. I want to make it better for everybody, including our people and especially our people. And I think that's awesome. So yeah, great, man.
Yeah, brother. Well, mira, before we wrap up, I just want to take this opportunity to go ahead and thank our listeners, because if it wasn't for you guys actually listening and giving us feedback and say, hey, you should try to get this person on and that person on, we wouldn't get to this point and have such an amazing conversation like the one that we just had. So shout outs to Monster Mac for making that happen for us.
Special thanks to Mac too for helping out with that. As I said it to my wife, I was like, no, I said, this is all Mac. So Mac really, really helped us out on this one. And I'm glad he did. Thank you, Monster. We appreciate it. And thank you again, Ortiz. And thank you, listeners, everybody who's here and listening, following, liking, and smash the follow button, and YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, Amazon Music, Apple iTunes, all the
just go to primosforlife.com and it's all there.
Primosforlife.com. That's what you need to do. This way I can stop blathering on, because we've already taken up so much of your time. But we wholeheartedly thank everybody for being here with us and for just listening to what we think is a fun interview. And we hope you guys have as good a time listening to it as we had making it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I 1,000% agree with that. Thank you again, everyone. Bueno, primos, it's about that time. You know what you got to do, my friend.
Well, yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, in honor of Señor Ortiz, muchísimas gracias por todos escuchar y visitar las páginas de nosotros. Nos vemos cuando nos vemos.
Yeah, man. Nos vemos cuando nos vemos. Adiós, everybody.
Ciao.